Let's try and explain to you what has gone on here from we can explain. Simon Love back with us. So there's been a vote to readmit Moira Deeming into the party room. That has not got up. So Moira Deeming room not back in the party room. No. But the clincher here is, Simon, that the party room was absolutely split, and John Pesutto was the decisive vote here. So he didn't want her back in the party.
No, he didn't, and he was the casting vote. I'm with Bill Tilley, who is the mover of this petition that forced this party room meeting. So it was 14-all, right, in the party room?
Yes, that's correct. It was 14-all.
So what happens in that instance? John Pesutto then gets up and says...
there were some constitutional matters that were discussed and debated very quickly. Not necessarily either side is absolutely correct, but anyway, it led to the Leader of the Opposition, John Pesutto, passing his casting vote, which made it 15-14.
So what if the two MPs that were absent today were here? It could be a completely different result, couldn't it?
It could have well been 15-all and then another casting vote. But either way, the Leader of the Opposition's had 2 votes today.
Do you think that next year this is all over and maybe people might move on, or would you look to move a vote against his leadership next year?
Look, there was one question and one question item today, and that's the motion that I put to the parliamentary party room. They may not have been happy today, but when is the bloody right time? You know, do you do it 2 weeks after Christmas? Do you do it? I mean, there is business of the house here, and the people that are really hurting out there are the people that live, work and raise their family in Victoria. We need to work for them, not looking at our navel-gazing and trying to sort our own bloody problems out. I was hoping to cauterise the issue today and move on. It wasn't about a spill. It was all about one question, is getting one of our members that was duly elected by the pre-selectors of the Victorian division of the Liberal Party and have her back in the fold.
How many speakers were there in the room? What was the mood like?
There was quite a number, actually, both sides. It was a reasoned debate. People held their respect. There was a bit, of course, you can't help human nature, and a bit of a tut-tut here and a, rolling of eyes and everything.
So there's a lot of divisions in there still.
Look, well, when you look at the results of the party room vote, 14-all, that's 50-50.
So deadlock party room. All right, well, what happens now, Bill? Like, have you spoken to Moira about this result?
Yeah, I've passed the information on to her. And
what was her reaction?
Don't know yet.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have a message for her if she's watching?
Merry Christmas. Love your husband. Love your kids. Love the work that you're doing here at the moment. But we're going to catch up again soon.
All right, Bill Tilley, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks, Lon.
Bill Tilley, there, member for Benambra, who was the MP that moved this motion. This is extraordinary, Laura. It is a completely divided Victorian Liberal Party.
Yeah, really interesting to see where this has landed today, Simon, because when this meeting started, we thought it might be short. It could be a pretty simple equation for the party to consider. In the end, what this has exposed is a deeply divided Liberal Party in Victoria. An election's still a little way away, but the efficacy of a Liberal Party that is this divided against a long-standing Labor government in Victoria has to be questioned here. I also think
absolutely.
John Pesutto, Simon, had the opportunity. It was in front of him there to heal the party, reach across the divide and readmit Moira Deeming into the party. It came down to him in the end. He must have thought that that was a possibility. In the end, he's decided, and I'd love to hear his reasonings for this, given that he lost this defamation action, that he decided not to do that. I mean, this could have been a real healing moment for the Liberal Party, and he has chosen not to take up that opportunity.
He's remained headstrong, essentially, in his opinion that Moira Deeming shouldn't be in this party room, despite a federal court judge ruling that the basis on which she was expelled was not factual, was potentially defamatory as well, and it's extraordinary. I mean, the Labor government will completely exploit this over the summer break into the new year. They'll be able to go out and say that the state opposition in Victoria is, or at least the Liberals are, completely divided. And I dare say upstairs the Nationals won't be too happy with this too, that it ultimately destabilises whether There might be questions about the coalition agreement too, given the division within the party room. We'll wait and see. But it's just messy. This is just a messy situation. And I could just see the tone and the looks on the MPs' faces as they walked out of the room, many of them not wanting to say anything to me. One of them whispered, yep, not ideal at all.
No, that's right, Simon. And just to underscore this, because if you're not from Victoria, it's really worth kind of going over the issues here. Whilst John Pesutto, you know, you've got to say that not everyone is behind his leadership in the Liberal Party, but, you know, who's the alternative? The other thing to also highlight here is that Moira Deeming is obviously, in and of herself, a very divisive figure within the party as well. The MP that you were just talking to does note that, you know, she was elected democratically under the Liberal Party banner as well, and that does need to be considered. But where we are at this time of year, voters hate this because it's navel-gazing. It's a Liberal Party talking about themselves rather than what matters to families.
Absolutely. On the doorstep of Christmas, this is, you know, no one wants to be talking about politics this time of year, and you've got both the major parties in Victoria undergoing such big change in the final week before Christmas, but the Liberal Party, it's just the same old story. We find ourselves here every 6 months or so with a question about the integrity within the party room, with questions about the leadership of the party.
So what happens now, Simon? That's right.
Yeah, when I put it to Bill Tilley about what could happen next year in terms of a school, that wasn't ruled out at all, because they didn't want to talk about it then. They'll go away to their constituents and maybe take soundings, but this is not over at all.
But
John
that's the thing,
could
Simon.
face
That's
leadership
the thing.
challenge in the new year.
Who's the obvious alternative? There doesn't seem to be one.
There isn't one at all.
And how would they be different?
They just
and how would
won't
they be
decide
different?
on it. Absolutely, 100% right. How would they be different to, and how would they unite the party too? I mean, there are a few contenders we've been speaking to this morning, Brad Batten, Brad Rosewell, Sam Groth. I mean, watching them come out of the room, they're not too impressed with this at all. So,
what are they doing though? Are they putting up an alternative? Are they expressing, even behind closed doors, how they would be different leaders?
Well, clearly not, because they could have raised the leadership matter then and there. They're all gathered in the party room. They could have done it, but no, they walked out, and now they're going to spill this over into next year. So it's extraordinary. I think we're going to hear from John Pesutto not too long from now, by the way.
Okay, keep us posted. We'll get back there to Melbourne as soon as we see him. Simon, thank you.